my name is Dr. Lauren Prover. This week's video is all about our OMSAS application, so this is a great video for our Canadian students. It's going to be a step-by-step insider's guide on how to fill out your OMSAS application. So I'm going to go through an overview of everything you need, from the personal information to the address information, the autobiographical sketch, your verifiers, referee, MCAT due dates, and transcripts. So we're going to go through it all today in this one quick video, and we'll go through specific examples of how to fill out your sketch so that you guys can get a good understanding of what schools are looking for in terms of the sketch. So to start off, the first thing you need to know about is filling out the personal information section. So this is all the typical stuff you would expect from this section, like name, age, gender, language of application, citizenship, Aboriginal status, and first language. So with your language of application, it's important to note that you need to be able to both speak and write the language fluently in order to apply in that language. The only school that will teach in French in Ontario is Ottawa. So if you want to go there and take the French language program, that's an important thing for you to note. Next up, we have the address section. So most students typically include two addresses. The first will be their mailing address, and that is typically the address that they live at while they're at school. Secondly, they'll typically include a home address or an address where mail can be sent to after May 1st. If that's the case for you, if your address changes after May 1st, make sure you check the little box. The other component of this, which is really important, is the rural component. So if you grew up in a rural area, some of the schools in Ontario will specifically select for you. So examples of schools with rural preference include Northern Ontario, Ottawa, and London. So all those schools are looking for students from a specific geographical area because they want to increase the number of doctors who work in that area. So if you grew up in one of those areas, you do want to be including your postal code in this rural section. If you didn't grow up in one of these areas, you might want to include it just in case. It's good practice for filling out the application completely. Next, we have the autobiographical sketch. So this is probably the part of the application that receives the most attention because it's the one that students struggle with the most. You'll have 150 characters for each descriptor, and this is where you include all your activities since age 16. There's 7 different categories of activities you can include: formal education, employment, volunteer, extracurricular, research, awards, and other. And OMSAS recommends including both structured and non-structured activities. So an example of a structured activity would maybe be volunteering for the Canadian Cancer Society and running their social media department. An unstructured role might be helping out an elderly neighbor or family member with chores, groceries, and house cleaning once a week. Any and all activities can be included for consideration, but we do really emphasize with our students quality over quantity. So how do we decide which activities to include? With your OMSAS sketch, you really want to choose activities that demonstrate the essential skills and abilities required to practice medicine. So these skills and abilities are on the OMSAS website. I'm just going to go over them briefly here to give you a general idea of what they are looking for. So first up, we have observation. Observation is hugely important in medical learning, whether it's procedural learning, observing how your preceptor deals with a difficult patient, or learning what's bothering your patient through simply watching them. In medicine, we learn a lot through observation. Next, we have communication. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory, but being a strong written and verbal communicator is paramount to the practice of medicine. After that, there's motor skills. So medical students need to have the motor ability to perform physical exams, perform basic procedures, and generally manipulate their patients and the world around them. Next up, we have the intellectual, conceptual, integrative, and quantitative abilities. So this is essentially your ability to demonstrate the cognitive and memory skills necessary for practicing medicine and for solving clinical problems. And finally, we have behavioral and social attributes. So this includes professionalism, emotional intelligence, as well as a strong personal emotional health. So you want to be able to use your autobiographical sketch to demonstrate that you possess these abilities. So now I'm going to go through an example of what a good sketch entry looks like. So this is an example of an employment entry, and it has a 150 character descriptor. So note the start date, the end date, the job title, which alludes to what the role was, as well as the verifier number. After that, we have the descriptor. And there's 2 main things I want you to note about the descriptor. First is the use of an adjective as the first word. So this is a great way to save on your character count, and it also helps to describe your role within the position. The next thing I want you to notice is that they're not explicitly telling me developed leadership, teamwork, communication, collaboration skills. They're describing their roles and allowing me to implicitly deduce that they have leadership, collaboration, and communication skills through the roles that they did in their job. By reading this paragraph, I get the sense that coordinating a global event requires a lot of leadership and communication skills. So really focus on show, don't tell. Show them that you have the knowledge and skills required. You don't need to list out the CanMeds roles in order to do this. So that's it for our sketch. Next up, we have the school submissions. So these are personal essays that are required by schools like U of T and Northern Ontario. So for your school submissions, you want to focus basically on three main things. So one, again, we have show and don't tell. Show the admissions committees that you have the skills they're looking for using personal narratives. Second of all, structure, structure, structure. An organized essay is so important because it really helps with the clarity of your communication. And like I mentioned before, communication is an essential skill for practicing medicine, and that's both written and verbal communication. So think of your essays as an opportunity to demonstrate the strength of your written communication skills. Third and final is proofread, proofread, proofread. I'm saying these both 3 times because they're so important. So proofread the essay yourself, then give it to someone else to proofread. You want to make sure it makes sense. You want to make sure your communication is clear, your structure is clear, and that the story you're telling is engaging as well as answers the question and gets the point across. Next up, we have referees. So you're going to need 3 referees to fill out a confidential assessment of your personality. The most common questions I get about referees is, should I include referee X or referee Y? When you're considering which referees to ask for your letters, consider a couple of different things. First of all, how well does the person know you and who is more likely to write a good reference letter? The other thing you want to think about is balancing your letters. So you don't want all academic letters or all medical letters. You want to show medical schools that you are successful in a variety of spheres within your life. Next, we have MCAT. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Write a good MCAT. It's going to help improve your chances of getting into med school. The other important thing is making sure you submit it on time. Typically, MCATs are due at the very beginning of November. It takes 2 days to process your MCAT, so to make sure it's submitted on time, you need to be submitting at least 2 days before that. Finally, we have the post-secondary education and transcripts section. So in terms of your post-secondary education, there's 2 main things you want to worry about. First off is accuracy. So you should be including every course from every post-secondary education institution that you attended throughout your degree. This includes summer courses, courses you withdrew from or canceled. They all should be on there, otherwise your application could be considered fraudulent and could be rejected. You also want to be proofreading each entry because they are very detail-oriented and can be repetitive, and it's easy to make small errors that'll hurt your application. In terms of your transcripts, you'll have to order them from your school to be sent to OMSAS. They're due at the same time as the rest of your application, which means you need to order them ahead of time to ensure that they are getting there on time. Check with your school in terms of what the processing time is, but I do recommend that you order them as early as possible. So that's it for our video today. That's everything you need to know to fill out your OMSAS application. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you check out the linked blog post for even more information. If you're looking for extra help with any part of your OMSAS application, schedule your free initial consultation with BeMo today. The link's posted below. Hope to see you next week.